Well, that's not the only federal bribery case happening in Hinds County. We mentioned the others a little bit earlier. This one involves former Interim Sheriff Marshawn Chrysler. He's accused of accepting $9,500 in bribe money while serving in that capacity. Chrysler is charged with one count of taking bribes in exchange for personal favors and one count of knowingly selling ammunition to a convicted felon. Our Quentin Smith has more from day 2 of this trial.
On Thursday, prosecutors called 5 witnesses to the stand, one of them being Tanari Moore. He's the convicted felon that allegedly gave Chrysler the bribe money. He says he gave Chrysler that money in exchange for personal favors. However, the defense says that's not true. They say the money was only given to go towards Chrysler's campaign. In court, the prosecution played audio and video recordings of meetings between Chrysler and Moore. In those recordings, prosecutors say you can see and hear the money being exchanged between the two men. While on the stand, Moore testified that he agreed to work with the FBI in order to get a lighter sentence after investigators found guns and drugs in his house back in September of 2021. Moore says investigators were turned on to Chrysler after going through his phone and seeing where the two men previously talked about exchanging money. According to Moore, by giving the $9,500, Chrysler promised to move one of his cousins to a safer part of the jail. He also promised to give him a heads up if his name ever came across his desk, and he also promised to give him a job at the jail. Prosecutors also say Chrysler gave Moore 14 rounds of ammunition and offered to have Moore's record expunged. But the defense refutes those claims, saying the money was strictly a campaign donation. They also say Chrysler moved Moore's cousin to the medical ward for medical attention only and not for safety purposes. The defense also questions why Moore was never charged with gun and drug possession during that September 2021 raid. Instead, he was only charged with being in possession of ammunition. Defense attorneys say they still plan to put Chrysler on the stand to testify during this trial. Court is now in recess until 9 o'clock Friday morning. Reporting from outside the federal courthouse, I'm Quentin Smith.